Yo, what's up, guys? Holyknight with you, bringing you Vermilion review, episode 2. Um, this episode was a lot more battle-oriented, I guess you can say. I mean, not really. We had like two good fights, but we had a continuation from where they left off last episode, with the main character, Chihiro, fighting the monster that came out of his stepfather's body, and he slaughtered that thing with ease. Like, it wasn't no competition. Then he woke up when he lost his power, and he was like, what happened? And he started looking at his hands and how his hands was bloody. He looked at the dead corpse of the monster, and he was like, oh my god, I killed another loved one. Which was kind of interesting, because he said, I killed another loved one. So I'm like, so that means you have killed in the past, and it was a loved one? And you see his friend like kind of freaked out and like stepped away from him. Then when Chihiro started to cry, his friend Katetsu, who was there, went up to him and then was like, are you okay? And we also got this new character, which sadly her name wasn't dropped, but she calls Chihiro Master, and she's also a healer that we saw so far, because she healed him mentally and put him to sleep. Then after that, we got like some investigators going to the house, you know, the police asking questions and stuff. We see the investigator guy from last time who smokes. We see him again. And he was trying to get into the crime scene to ask questions, but the leading chief, who was a female, who we didn't get her name sadly either, she told the other cops to say no, not to let him in at all, so he couldn't get in. And, you know, we had the cops chick asking everyone questions, whatever. And Katetsu and this new chick that was the new character on our side, hopefully, you know, told her lies, saying, oh, I just got here, I'm a friend of Chihiro, and I came by just to drop off some information from school. Then Katetsu was like, I don't know what happened, I just fainted. So both of them are not telling the truth, but you really can't blame them. Look at the situation they're in. I mean, 95% of people won't believe you if you said our place was attacked by a monster. So, understandable. They're real good. Then we got this next scene where, like, you know, the next morning where she's cooking breakfast for them, and she's calling Chihiro Master, and they was like, why are you cooking breakfast for us? And she was like, well, you need food in your system to get stronger, blah, blah, blah. Plus, we're going to school soon, so you need energy for it. And I'm like, okay. She pops out of nowhere, just being like super, like, I'm not saying bossy, but like a caretaker, most likely. She's acting like that, so it's like, but she's new. She just came out of nowhere, so it's like, why are you acting this way? But I guess that's just a character. But it was just funny because it was like the next day after that, when, you know, that same day, I mean, when they went to school, it was like, we don't really feel like being in school. And then she started telling them, you know, being home all sad is not going to get you nowhere. At least in school, you're forced to be active and do your schoolwork and activities and so forth, so forth. Then we see this big commotion of this guy just swinging his arms everywhere, just screaming. His eyes are like almost popping out, and he's crying. And this new girl on our crew, she was like, oh, he's about to turn into a monster. Unfortunately, before that happened, the doctor from last episode, Inaki, I believe it was pronounced his last name, Inaki, I think. There you go, yeah, Inukai, thank God, Inukai. But yeah, the doctor with the red hair from last episode came in, injected this guy, and this guy went straight to sleep. Then his assistant came in. She grabbed him and took him to the hospital. And the doctor said something real funny. He went to Chihiro and he looked in his eyes, and he was like, he had a shocked face. Then the new girl that's in our crew was right behind. She ran, you know, right behind him. And then he looked into her eyes, and he was like, oh, okay, I get it. Then he told Chihiro, I'm going to be seeing more of you often. And he walked away, and Chihiro and Katetsu were both confused. But I have a feeling he probably has some type of power or know what's going on. Same with the new chick who's on our squad, so. But yeah. After that, they start going to school, they're doing their activities. Lunchtime comes around. And this is where things get very interesting because it's like the halfway part of the episode. We have Katetsu and Shishio questioning her, saying, "What you know? What's going on? Tell us." And her answer again is, "Until you remember." She was talking to Shihiro. "Until you remember, I can't tell you, or I won't tell you." And she's only talking to Shihiro. She doesn't talk to Katetsu. I mean, she may answer some questions, or she may tell them shh, but other than that, she barely talks to him. It's Shihiro, who she calls Master, who she speaks to the most of the episode. And something like an argument breaks out between Shihiro and her for not wanting to tell him what's going on. And he starts getting a headache. So he goes to the bathroom, washes up, whatever. And we hear that ding, ding, that special bell noise from the last episode. So he comes out the boys' bathroom, and the chick from the long black hair and the white shirt and the blue, I believe, I'm not sure if it's black or blue skirt, but her from the first episode. And she was there, and she had a bell, and she was ringing it. After that, she stopped ringing it, and she ran. He ran after her for a good while, and while they were running, we had two special scenes. We saw the scene of the investigator and his assistant again, bullying the school principal, saying, let us investigate this pirate area, or something else. He was threatening them, basically. And then we see another scene of students that we saw in the first episode who had powers, who wasn't introduced yet, but they were used as background characters. So that was pretty interesting, seeing that running scene after her actually had some purpose and character development for the investigator and them and himself. But when he finally catches up to her, she disappears, and he starts talking to Inaku, the guy from the first episode who we only saw once, who was looking at the school bulletin board. He's talking to him for a while, and we hear the bell again. And then we see her, and she's ringing the bell, and she was like, "Only if you would die the first time." And that's when the guy, again from last episode with the blue clothes and the black shirt and the glasses, came up and was like, "You're not doing your job as a I forgot what he called her. I think a heroic hero or heroic something." And he's like, "I got this." So he snaps his fingers. The bell sound got louder and more powerful. And Inako and the three other people that was there, all four of those civilians, became monsters. And at this moment, Katetsu and the servant chick came in and was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And the servant chick told Shishio, "Hey, you're gonna have to use your power again. Let the blood of the heroic bloodline take over you." So I'm guessing after she said that, I'm thinking, of course anyway, that there's people who has heroic bloodlines and probably some people who have villain bloodlines, and it's a back and forth thing. This is supposed to be an action anime. This is supposed to be an action sci-fi game series. I haven't read the manga, if there is one, or a light novel. I'm not sure which this is, but so far it seems pretty interesting, even though we're only 2 episodes in. And after that discussion, he was like, "I'd rather die than use that power again and have innocence on my hands." And this is when things get really, really good, because then Kasetsu steps in, and he was like, "You're the one that killed my dad." And his eyes glow red, and he starts to scream, and boom, he starts having that red ring armor on, but instead of having a sword in his hand, he had a lance. And he starts charging the guy, but the monsters get in his way. He knocked them off with ease. The guy who rang the bell ran away, so he ran after him. And when Katetsu bumped into him, this guy turned more civilians into monsters. And Katetsu was fighting the monster, but he wasn't really doing too good with this new monster. It looks like some overgiant, devil bat goblin with a trident, and it basically beat him down and pushed him off to the side. And Shihiro saw this, and he was like, he got kind of upset. And that's where the episode ends, with him getting upset and screaming out his friend's name. But yeah, so far this anime's been really, really good, and I'm enjoying it. Can't wait to see what happens next episode. Hopefully we get more of this bloodline and villain line thing, and hopefully we learn more of the powers. and why these people are turning normal civilians into monsters in the first place. I mean, is there like a really good reason, or do you just want to like? Yeah, it's confusing, but yeah, that was the episode. It was pretty decent. It was good, and yeah, can't wait for more. But yeah, this is Lord Vermilion, episode 2 review. Please leave your thoughts, comments down below, and please like and share and subscribe. And I see you in the next one.